The Russian invasion of Ukraine, now dragging into late 2025, has become a grueling war of attrition, a meat grinder of artillery duels and trench warfare that has bled both sides white. But a fundamental shift is on the horizon, a change in the tactical landscape that has sent a tremor of genuine panic through the fortified command bunkers of the Kremlin. The news, confirmed by multiple intelligence sources and openly celebrated in Kyiv, is that American-made attack helicopters, specifically the formidable AH-1Z Viper, are about to enter the fray, for the Russian conscript shivering in a muddy trench in the Donbas, or the tank crew operating their vulnerable T-90. The arrival of the Viper is not just another weapon system, it is the manifestation of a new kind of hell descending from the sky. The Viper is not a repurposed transport helicopter, it is a dedicated, purpose-built flying tank destroyer, a predator perfected over decades of combat experience. It is faster, more agile, and exponentially more lethal than anything the Ukrainian Air Force has fielded to date. Its arrival signifies that the West has crossed yet another of Vladimir Putin's red lines, demonstrating a commitment to Ukraine's victory that extends to providing some of the most advanced offensive capabilities in the NATO arsenal. The Viper's primary weapon, the AGM-11 Hellfire missile, is a name that strikes fear into the hearts of armored crews around the world. With its precision guidance and devastating warhead, the Hellfire can turn any Russian tank, armored personnel carrier, or mobile artillery piece into a flaming wreck from miles away, long before the Russian vehicle even knows it is being targeted. The Viper's integrated sensor suite allows its pilots to see through the darkest night and the thickest battlefield smoke, identifying and locking onto targets with pinpoint accuracy. This means there will be no respite for Russian forces, no cover of darkness under which to resupply or reposition. The Viper owns the night, and it will use that advantage to hunt down Russian armor with ruthless efficiency. The psychological impact of this cannot be overstated. Russian troops, already demoralized by high casualties, poor leadership, and a lack of supplies, will now live under the constant threat of sudden, unseen death from above. The characteristic thwop-thwop of the Viper's rotor blades will become the soundtrack to their nightmares, a signal that the hunter has arrived and that their time is running out. This is not just a boost to Ukraine's firepower. It is a weapon designed to break the spirit of the Russian army. The introduction of the AH-1Z Viper into the Ukrainian theater of operations is not merely an incremental upgrade in capability. It has the potential to be a revolutionary force multiplier that could break the bloody stalemate along the hundreds of miles of front line. For months, the war has been defined by static defensive lines, dense minefields, and overlapping zones of artillery fire that have made any large-scale offensive maneuvers brutally costly. Russian doctrine relies heavily on massed artillery and armored thrusts, both of which are now directly threatened by the Viper. The gunship is designed to operate in the nap of the earth, flying low and fast, using the terrain, tree lines, hills, and riverbeds to mask its approach from Russian radar and air defense systems. It can pop up suddenly, unleash a barrage of Hellfire missiles and 20mm cannon fire, and then disappear back behind cover before the stunned Russian defenders can react. This capability will force a fundamental rethink of Russian defensive strategy. Their tanks and armored vehicles, which have been used to hold ground and support infantry attacks, can no longer operate with impunity in the open. They will be forced to disperse, to hide in tree lines and urban areas, making them less effective and harder to command. Russian artillery, the backbone of their war effort, will also become a primary target. The Vipers will hunt down the self-propelled guns and multiple rocket launcher systems that have been pounding Ukrainian cities and positions, degrading Russia's ability to provide fire support and conduct counter-battery fire. Furthermore, the Vipers will provide close air support to Ukrainian infantry on a level they have never experienced. As Ukrainian ground forces push forward to retake occupied territory, the gunships will be right above them, clearing the way, destroying hardened bunkers, silencing machine gun nests, and breaking up Russian counterattacks before they can gain momentum. This combination of air and ground power, coordinated in real time, is the essence of modern combined arms warfare, a capability that Russia has struggled to master and one that Ukraine is now on the verge of unleashing. The arrival of the Viper means that the static, grinding war of attrition is about to become dynamic, fluid, and exponentially more dangerous for the occupying forces. The Russian front, once thought to be an immovable object, is about to be hit by an unstoppable force. The deployment of U.S. gunships to Ukraine is a strategic disaster for Vladimir Putin, a clear signal that his war of conquest has failed to achieve its primary objective of subjugating Ukraine and dividing the West. Instead, it has resulted in a stronger, better-armed Ukraine that is now integrating the most potent weapons of NATO into its armed forces. The Putin panic described in the headlines is real, born of the realization that the military balance of power is shifting decisively against Russia. The arrival of the Vipers demonstrates that the West is not deterred by Putin's nuclear saber-rattling or his threats of escalation. It shows a resolve to see Russia defeated on the battlefield, to degrade its conventional military power to the point where it can no longer pose a threat to its neighbors. This is a direct challenge to Putin's entire geopolitical strategy, which relies on the projection of military force and the intimidation of weaker states. If Russia's boasted armored columns can be destroyed at will by American helicopters flown by Ukrainian pilots, the myth of Russian military might is shattered forever. This holds profound implications not just for the war in Ukraine, but for Russia's standing in the world. Its allies and partners will take note of its inability to protect its own forces from Western weaponry. Its influence in the post-Soviet space will further erode as nations look to the West for security and partnership. Domestically, the sight of Russia's best tanks burning on the Ukrainian steppe, destroyed by American weapons, will be a hard pill for the Kremlin's propaganda machine to swallow. It will undermine Putin's narrative of a special military operation going according to plan and expose the catastrophic costs of his imperial ambitions. The Vipers are not just attacking Russian tanks. They are attacking the very foundation of Putin's regime. As the first Vipers lift off from Ukrainian air bases, laden with missiles and ready for war, they carry with them the hopes of a nation fighting for its survival and the collective resolve of the free world. The message to Moscow is clear. Your aggression will not stand, your army will be broken, and the weapons of democracy are coming for you. The arrival of hell on the Russian front is not just a tactical development. It is a strategic turning point that spells the beginning of the end for Putin's war.